Yeah, my name is Nathan Gochee. I started in the telecommunications industry back in 1998. I started as a residential installer for Comcast cable, doing coax cable installation. Back before digital TV even came out, we sort of the first rollers of that. And stayed in that for several years and ended up working my way up through the company and became a service technician. Eventually went to work for Charter Communications as a sweep technician for the reverse plant, checking for ingress issues with their plant. Stayed there for a few years. Then I really got into the construction of the cable plant, really enjoyed that. Eventually became a private contractor for Comcast, about 10 to 12 years, building their HFC underground and aerial plants. And eventually got out of that a little bit. We got in more into the enterprise realm, doing more like network structure cabling. Very similar to like residential installs, except for doing more with like Cat 5e, Cat 6 cables, network plants. And then throughout the period of time, I was introduced in 2007 to fiber optic cable with a company that was doing a lot of air-blown fiber, which was not heard of at the time. It was very new technology. Introduced to that, really enjoyed it, liked it, stayed with it throughout my career, off and on. Ended up becoming a certified trainer for a manufacturer for the air-blown fiber product, and did a lot of training and consulting for Tier 1 companies as well. And really liked the product and the fiber industry a lot, stayed with it, and up to here recently I became a sales engineer for a manufacturer of fiber optic microduct solutions and air-blown fiber. And just the way the technology has grown over the years has been very motivating, because it helped me to realize I wasn't in a stagnant industry. Because I think typically when you get into any type of a job, you want to be able to advance and grow. And this industry has helped me do that. And a lot of it too is on the individual. Some individuals are fine with just being at one level, but if you definitely have the desire to advance your career and become something more, I think the telecommunications industry, especially the fiber optics world, offers that, because you can learn. There's various different ways of learning. A lot of my learning came from hands-on, just working in the field, learning under seasoned technicians, learning the proper ways to do things. But then also there's a lot of online courses you can take to learn and educate yourself on. That's one thing that I've done over the years, is I went out and sought certifications and got certifications. And a lot of people that are not really college bound, that don't want to either spend the years in college and the money, you can go into like a trades like telecommunications and get a very good career pathway for a career through it.
Yeah. So you mentioned, you've been kind of all over different technologies, seen everything evolve through fiber. Having that kind of breadth of experience, what'd you say is like your favorite aspects of the industry, and then the stuff that you find the most fatiguing, least favorite?
But the thing when it comes to fiber optics itself, I really gravitated more to like fusion splicing, and the aspect of that to me, especially I did a lot of it in the enterprise realm, in municipalities and large space office building, connecting different campuses and stuff together, and just being able to sit down at a table and have me, my splicer, and my fiber, and just to me it was very therapeutical. So to speak. I could just sit there and I knew what I had to do and just go to town and do it, right? Same thing with the construction of the fiber and stuff, being in it, whether it's in a bucket truck and having a design and just going out and doing it. That really gravitated. Now the construction side is a little bit more tasking, a little bit more physical, but instead, definitely once I got into the newer technologies like the air-blown fiber, air-blown cable, microduct technologies, it takes away a lot of that physical strain, because it's easier, it requires less manpower to do, but it's still very intriguing by the technologies that are there, and you still get to work with the fiber, which I really like, and the microduct technology, like I said, over the past 10, 15 years is advanced in it, and I'm just a really big fan of it, and it just helps open up the opportunities for individuals that maybe are not fiber, college bound, and don't know what they can do with themselves. Take a leap and just get into the industry and start learning it, and you'll find a niche that, like with me, it led me to the enterprise realm, which I really like, the structure cabling aspect, and there's a lot of areas there, but I gravitated back to my love, which was fiber optics and microduct technology.
The kind of like hands-on application.
Yeah, the hands-on app, and now I'm more of an engineering role. to where actually I can go meet with customers. I can educate them on the technologies, train field crews, get out in the field sometimes and get my hands and boots dirty, which I still like. Mac doesn't like it as much anymore, but I like getting out in the field and working with people, educating them on the technologies, and being able to give back a little bit of what was given to me in my early career.
Yeah, so what would you say, you've already covered plenty as far as things that could be considered advice, but, anyone who's thinking about the industry, or maybe, someone who'd be considering adjacent industries, electrical work, other trade work, but don't know much about this industry, what would you want them to kind of know as far as, piece of advice or what they should know about this particular industry?
This particular industry, just like any of the other trades industry, I would, and even my own children, I've encouraged them to think outside of the box when it comes to careers. I think, society has always, for years, has pressured us into saying conform to a certain box when it comes to employment, and I think the trades industry is more promising now than ever because there's a need for it. You mentioned like electrical and stuff, there's needs for that, and to be able to get into it, you don't have to have your college degrees and education. You can go into it, whether through a trade school, through a mentorship program, and same thing getting into the fiber optics industry and the industry I'm in today. You can just literally just find an ad for people that are looking for installers, and you can go in and you can be trained hands-on. You don't have to spend all that time, but you have to spend time, but it's hands-on time that you're learning and you're developing yourself, not just as a career and skill sets, but to me it's helped to develop me as a person, as a character as well.
Absolutely. Are there any other pieces of direct advice you want to share with them?
I would say just find something that you have a passion about. Take that step. Be willing to step into something that you're not as knowledgeable about, maybe you haven't ever heard of. Find out a little bit more information about it, but just take that leap of faith, so to speak, and get into it. And you'll be shocked on what you may or may not like. And that's what I did. I went from a construction background out of high school and got into the telecommunications, and I've been into it for 25 plus years now, and it's been very promising for me.
Yeah, I've noticed so many people who do come join the industry not necessarily knowing what it's going to be, what they're going to get into, but they stick around because it has something.
Yeah, it's something that we can find that niche because there's so many different facets to it. Yeah. There's an engineering side, there's the design side, there's the physical hands on the ground side, there's the service and repair side. There's all kinds of different avenues within the industry that you can go, and just once you get into it, then you're exposed to all of those different avenues within the industry. And then you can find your niche that works best for you. You might be more of a whiz or more of a electronics type of person. You can get more into the active components side of it and the engineering side of it or something. Maybe you're more of a hands-on person and you like to really work with your hands. There's areas for that. So it has a bigger broad scope for people to get where you don't feel so boxed in, and you can go from different avenues within the industry and find that niche that works for you.
Yeah, one thing you mentioned I was curious about, coming in from construction into this. Obviously this was pre-fiber frenzy days and everything, but was there something when you came from construction into your first role, what did that shift feel like to you? Was there anything that felt...
Well, the construction I mentioned was more like residential, like a home building type of construction.
Yeah.
It was still hands-on, laboring out in the hot sun and the cold weather and stuff like this. And it was sort of a shift, but it was still hands-on, out in the elements sort of stuff. But it went from, rather than carrying a shovel and digging holes, to maybe carrying a ladder or something like that, being more and the thing I liked most is it gave me the ability to grow and adapt as an individual with my personal skills, because getting into telecommunications, I had more interactions with customers, residential customers, and I would get to talking with people, and they would help me with my communication skills. Because even during high school, I did some communication classes, but I was more reluctant on talking with people, and this industry helped me with that. It helped me, I'm meeting new people every day throughout the industry. And one thing that I've learned over my career is, your advancement in your career, having connections and who you know and the different relationships you build helps project you further into your career. And this has helped me create those connections and personal connections.